allegedly. It's just the word allegedly. It's what I heard allegedly. It's on the street allegedly. I sing to the beat allegedly. 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 It's what I heard allegedly. It's just the word allegedly. Don't blame, don't sue allegedly. It won't help you allegedly. 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 Bitch, one of you was flat. And they were. How is everyone doing tonight? And welcome to the Auntie Hour Open Forum, where you get to ask Alex whatever you want, whatever you're fascinated with. We can talk about housewives of whoever or wherever. You can ask me, to read a boss or a family member, a friend, whatever you want. This is Ask Alex Auntie Hour. It's your time. We've got the link in the chat, so if you want to shimmy on in and sound off, feel free. This evening, I have been playing Turok and getting my entire nostalgic life. And it's like the older I get, the more I'm like, why am I playing the video games I played when I was 16? And I would rather stay inside and make a root beer float than go out. It really is like I'm 16 all over again. Except, now we have iPads and phones and I have a job and a dog. Where is Bronx? Bronx is on the bed. Bronx, come here. You're requested. Bronx. Bronx, come here. Come on. He's like, I gotta get up for this. Come on. Oh, here he is. Here he is. He's like, let me cuddle up here. Hello. They've wanted to see you. How was your nap? Have you enjoyed living with me for the past year? What are your thoughts on that? I've enjoyed living with you. You haven't chewed up too much. I've appreciated that. You've only ruined one pair of boat shoes and 2 charging cords. Let's keep that from happening again, shall we? At least you don't poop in anything. But yes, this is our Bronx. This is our mascot. And really, this is his day. It's just, it's just me lavishing on him all day and him napping. It's his, and then he's so cute. Everybody on the street loves him and comments on him. It's his world and we're just living in it. And he knows it too. He knows I'm adorable and everyone loves me. I am so glad I decided to get you. Although I didn't know it was you I was going to get. You really did choose me. Oh, we got CB in the chat. Shimmy on in. How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, good. So I'm doing well, thank you. How are you? It's been a while since I've been over here.
Yes, we're good.
I see you're loving on Bronx, which warms my heart.
Yes, well, how can I not? So what are you doing this Auntie Friday evening?
I was going to go to bed because I was planning to do laundry in the morning, but I saw that it was like, what is it, Ask Auntie Hour or some such?
The Auntie Hour, Ask Alex.
Oh, sorry, Ask Alex Auntie Hour. Sorry, I can't see the prompts because I'm in StreamYard. So one thing I want to ask you is, Have you ever, at any point in your adult life, felt like you diverged from what your younger slash teenage self wanted for your life?
Hmm. In my adult life, yeah, yeah, yes, yes, many times. Did I think for me it was more of a sense of I don't know where I'm going. Is this going to make it? And I had that until I was 35. So,
I'm
it,
only 31.
okay, so you're on the right track. You are on the right track. Um, Look at everyone else's life. Life throws you curveballs. Most of us aren't doing what we thought we were going to do as a kid because those careers didn't exist. Like, I wanted to be entertainment, didn't know this was how I was going to do it. Also didn't know I would develop a passion for real estate. So you have to be open to learning new things about yourself that like I didn't know I would enjoy this. And also there are new careers popping up every day. There are new things to do, new ways to make money. Dog massagers are out there and they're paying taxes. They're making six figures. You will find your way. I promise. You got to keep looking though.
Okay, I do feel a little more faith. So here's the situation. When I was a teenager, I thought that I would become a wildly successful, wildly popular, wildly beloved fiction writer slash journalist.
Mm.
And that's just career wise. Don't even get me started on planning to live the single life on the scene in New York until I met someone, fell in love, and married at the very mature, very responsible age of 25.
Not 28, 25. Oh, oh wow. Okay.
Yes, to five.
Lofty. Well, I mean, that's a lot. That's when a lot of people have their
Yeah,
first
yeah,
marriage.
I was.
And that would put you on track to getting your
Well,
first
what always
divorce
gets me.
about now, between now and 28. So think about it as you just skipped out on your first divorce. You saved thousands. I've skipped out on two failed marriages by now. That's how I really look at it. I just missed my two failed marriages.
Well, ideally, I'd want to stay married if I got married. I wasn't looking for a divorce.
If you talk about
Not to say that.
getting married at 25, oh baby, you looking for a divorce in the candle, you looking for a divorce in the cup. You maybe there's a divorce in the bag of chips. There's a divorce,
I
you
was
looking for a divorce.
15 when I was 15 when I was making these life plans.
Why are you
I come
holding
from a young.
why are you holding yourself
Huh?
to plans you made when you were 15?
Well, I'm not holding myself to them, but I'm trying to give you some background. And
Or
as
you're shocked that life has turned out vastly different in some good ways and in some ways.
uh I won't say shocked because I've lived it for years. Like I never found anyone that I would like want to marry for, definitely not for love, and very few for like non-love reasons. And the people that I would have married for non-love reasons, I didn't need to. And one is actually a cancer that doesn't even deserve air, much less to be in my life.
Well, where do you live?
Virginia.
Well, that'll do it. That like I will say dating for gay black men, get a career where you can travel. Deadass. Get a career where you can travel. And I mean, I've done New York, I've done San Francisco. Now I'm gonna do Philly, New York, DC, and next stop Portugal. Like, if you like, always have a plan where it's like, okay, I'm gonna be here for this much time. I'm gonna cast my net, go out, join clubs, join organizations, and make friends and give it a good 2 years. If you haven't met anybody in that 2 years, move. That would be
Well,
my advice. I would say I stayed too long in San Francisco.
one, I also foresaw much more that so the thing is, when I was younger, when I was this sheltered teenager making life plans, and also like I spent all of my non-school time in the house watching my brothers. So so I didn't really get to like socialize like a normal teenager and all of that stuff. Like I promised myself so many things. I promised myself so many things, and the vast majority of them did not come to pass.
Why do you think
Which,
they didn't come to pass? Can they still come to pass? Is it that it just hasn't happened yet?
well, I think that the main thing is that I was like young and naive, and also I come from young parents who themselves came from young parents, which is why I always laugh whenever I bring up the whole mature age of 25 thing. Like my mom, like, so my father was a whore, so he's not really worth bringing up, but like my grandparents and my mom and stepdad, and like that they had already been with their long term or basically long term relationships by the time they were in their 20s.
You cannot compare yourself to heterosexuals. Numero uno. Like, when you look at, successful gay marriages, we're, 35 plus. And honestly, now that I'm 40 and I have 40-year-old friends and 50-year-old friends, I'm like, ooh, those that got married, like very few that got married in their 20s or early 30s are still together or still together in a functional way. I honestly, I'm like, this is why I'm saying, I'm like, all I did was miss out on my first two divorces. Now, getting married around 45, 50, you're going to stay together. Ain't nowhere else to go. Oh, we got Mel in here. All right, Mel here. Yes, we have another seasoned gay man from the northeastern corridor who can speak to this. No,
Yeah.
no, this is so the perfect timing.
Well, you know what? Thank you, Alex. Thank you. I was compelled. I really was compelled to come in because I like the conversation. I think that what CB is talking about is interesting because you know what, young brother, I will say that to you. I've been there and done that. I definitely had those conversations with myself, and my situation is not too. It's not that different than yours when I was young. My mother and all that kind of stuff. But what I found that worked for me is that it's true. When you're younger, you get messages and you start making plans based on the messages you have around you, based on television, your community, your school, your family. You just get a lot of different things that come in, and then you start making plans. But when you get older, you have to kind of check in on yourself again. You got to recheck. You got to maybe even throw away the plans you had before and be brave enough just to throw them away and sit down and go, okay, what do I need now? 2024, what is it that I want? What is it that I need now? Whether it be career, person, whatever. And because I actually had, I believe in going to different workshops. And I've gone to many workshops and had wonderful conversations with different teachers and leaders. And this is just my thing. And I remember that's what I learned from this place. They said, well, when you come to my workshop, I actually want you to throw away everything you thought about before you got here. And we're going to start new. It was a whole weekend thing. It was great. And what I learned when I got out of there was the things that I really wanted. Whatever it is, it was a feeling. And it's personal. But when you really get down to what is it that you want to feel, what is it that you need in the now, and then you can sort of play with that, and you can build on that too. I feel like that was what saved me, or at least that kind of situation. Um, yeah, I think that's what helped me with my journey.
Now
I
that's
have to admit, I do wish I had like had those check-ins with myself when I was younger. It's for oh God.
honey, you're
First,
31, you are younger. This is honestly the age of about your first check-in. Well, 25 might have been your first. So this is your second. You're on course.
You know what I was going to say? One of my older friends, he was a guy, because I remember when I first was coming out. Actually, my family not conservative, but nobody really was around. It was a part of the community, all that. So it wasn't a bad thing at all, but it just wasn't a part of my family. So I went outside the family to talk about, what I who I was, stuff like that. And I met this gentleman here in New York City. I've lived here all my life, and he was an older guy, very older, but he was wonderful. And he knew about astrology. He just knew about so many different things. And around 29 is what this gentleman told me, who was a dear friend of mine for a long time. He said, Mel, this is actually a big 29 in a man's life is a big time, where you kind of you have drama, you have, you lose maybe friendships you had from your childhood. Like, it's a whole big thing. I don't know exactly why, but come on now, Alex. 29.
28. It was 28 for me, but yep, those are the years.
Yeah.
I had the 28 was rough.
And you know what? But okay. So you know what? So can you ask you this? So at that time, the way you were before your first 28 years, it feels like, to the guys I've told you, I've had a lot of conversation. They feel like the first, in your situation, the first 28 years is one way. And then post that, you've started to develop who you are now. I mean, at the beginning, it was still baby steps, but you're different. It's almost like a butterfly or something. It's like you have the first stage of your life, you have this big turmoil and chaos, which is a beautiful thing, and then you end up going to a different direction. It's like I don't know what word to use for it, but it's a difference. I don't want to get biblical on it, but
Transformation.
yeah, the
I think
transformation. There you go.
the finishing of the development of the frontal lobe, because our frontal lobes finished developing about 25, 26. And
Hmm.
so then we're still kind of in the habit of who we were before, but we're kind of recognizing that's not who I want to be. That's not what I want to be. And then difficult changes have to be made. Friendships have to end. Like, lifestyles have to change for you to get, like, if you want something new, you have to do something new. Like, that's why I'm leaving. I'm like, you know what? I want something new, so I can't stay here and expect something new.
Yeah, and I think that I agree with you. I think for me, you know what I would tell you, my thing was that as crazy as it sounds, I always wanted excitement. I always wanted excitement. I didn't want anything to be boring or anything to be, just normal. And what I realized was that what I really wanted was very simple. It was very simple things, very very simple things, and I thought I could only get those through excitement. And I think that that's why I say to people who are younger, or anybody I've talked to a lot of people. I always talk about really, get a pen and pad with you, and or on your phone now. And every time you have a thought in your mind about what you want, or what's not working, is a big signal too. That really helps people a lot. Whatever you're frustrated with in your life, make a big list of things that you're frustrated with. It's not working. That your apartment or whatever. Just make a list of it, because that will then lead you to what you need. You know, and if you focus on you make a list of what you're frustrated about, you then can make a list of the things you want or you need, and that will kind of help guide you, whether it be career, location, person, whatever it is. Those are some, and it's a whole lot to it, but that's kind of what I, make the first step I always tell people is make a list of things you're frustrated by. Whatever is frustrating you, whatever career, family member, whatever, that's the beginning of everything for me.
Definitely. And Stella Beatrice said, don't internalize it, write it out. It'll bring out patterns you don't see.
The-
And that's true.
Absolutely. Amen.
There is something
Absolutely.
about putting pen to paper. It puts it more in the mind. It puts it more out there, and you can really see it. And it's like, okay, like, I'm definitely planning on doing things differently in Philadelphia than here, just because the cultures are so different. And there, Here I moved for my social life. There I'm moving for my career. So I'm going to be focused much more on like, okay, do I want to, join an improv team? Where am I going to be performing? Like, I want Chris and I to do live stuff every quarter. So it's going to be looking for venues. So I know my social circle there is going to be much more creative focused.
Yeah. You know what I was going to say? I had a question for both of you. I was going to ask you this because this is not political, but
Sure.
so my question I want to throw in here was that, and I'm still, I'm still dealing with things. My question to you, to both of you, we live in a very crazy time where people are always, judging each other so hard. So we see a lot of it in the political, arena and just a lot of judgment. My question is, I feel guilty when I have a negative thought or a defensive thought or a thought that's not really nice about people who don't see the humanity in me, as a black gay man or whatever, there's a lot of that going around. And I want to give back the negativity. How, for the two of you, whenever you encounter, whether it be racism, whether it be through homophobia, whatever it is, and I'm not saying that I experienced it, I'm just watching these programs which I should not watch, and I'm getting triggered by some of this stuff. When you see people judging people a part of your group, um, do you struggle? And do you struggle? Oh, how can I put it? My struggle is that it's hard for me to not judge people who judge me. It's based on racism or homophobia, whatever. That's my struggle.
Hmm. Hmm. So my thing personally, and this is just for me, CB. Um, honestly, I work in I work for a local private college that is so nose in the air, acting like their shit doesn't stink. It's actually cheap and broke, but you know, I never said that. And of course, as you can imagine, with it being in the South, it is a hotbed for like the casual racism, casual uh queer phobia, yada yada. So the more egregious people, I pull a Mariah Carey. We don't know them. We don't address them. I've actually I've actually made a point of not addressing this former work friend of mine who works there right now. Mind you, he's twice my age, so almost twice my age. He turned 61 last month. So he had outed me to our bigoted boss, who he knew was a bigot, like an anti-LGBT bigot. He knew this, and he knew that I had issues with her, and he knew I was going to HR about her. He told her that I was in the community. He told her that I was going to HR about her. And also there were some other things that was peak ignoring the signs. So now I make a point of not saying anything to him. And yes, we have to work together in close quarters throughout most of the day. He still doesn't get anything from me if I can help it. He barely gets anything about work and nothing about anything that's not work. So there are some that I ignore. And whenever I hear like a group being disrespected in the moment, I do speak up because I'm not going to sit around um and let my groups be disrespected, especially by, quite frankly, white losers. Like these are I tend to see this more from the sort of white people who, and it's not all of them at this college. I will say that, but there are certain ones. And the reason why I call them white losers is because if slavery came back tomorrow and, this sort of antebellum, um, all that sort of thing, they wouldn't even be able to participate. Like they are out here like trying to trying to exclude people, trying to set themselves up as this, that, and the third, like they're so above whatever. And it's like one of you lives in a borderline crappy apartment complex, and the other, your father has, I happen to know where your father lives, and it's one of those like junk filled old houses. You had to get a second job because you let your former roommate lick you because you were a sucker. So you were paying all the bills for 6 months. So you had to get a second job making the damn heart at Hardee's or Carl's Jr. for Alex. Like it, you basically, you really have to consider the source. And a lot of times the source is like the people who wouldn't be up to snuff anyway. So I personally alternate between like a did a, I'm sorry for rambling, and I'm sorry for whenever my words catch. You have to alternate between a dignified fraudier and like letting someone know what time it is. At least for me. At least for me. That is my personal policy.
I've been lucky at work. I have not been in that situation, but I've been working for me for so long now. And that is definitely one of the privileges that I don't have to worry about racism at work. Um, there's so much no room for that in real estate. Like, that's what half the training is. So like people know at in real estate, they know keep it to yourself. You will be out of there so fast because you're messing with the money. You are directly messing with the money. And white people can understand the rules of racism when it comes to messing with the money. They don't even microaggress in real estate. They don't even microaggress. They have to, like, we're so worried about making sure our clients don't say anything stupid. Um, let's see. I did have someone ask me, is this a black neighborhood? And I'm like, I'm standing in front of them. I am standing in front of them. Me. I'm standing in front of them, and they asked me, is this a black neighborhood? And it wasn't like they didn't, is this a black? Like, it was just, it was odd. It was odd enough. There was a twinge of like, what is, and I'm a black realtor. You're in Harlem. You're
Oh,
in
What
Harlem.
the
Like,
fuck?
come on.
I was just, honey, I wish I was lying to you. I am
Mm-mm.
not. I honestly, I was so genuinely confused. That's truly the emotion I still have now. It's like, and also I wonder, like, too, it could have been that could have been a tester because
Yes.
legally we cannot answer those questions. I just said, this is Harlem.
Yeah.
Everybody lives here. Also, and that is the truth. Everybody does live in Harlem. So, but legally, you have to say everybody lives here. You cannot say it is. So, it could have been somebody that was sent from the real estate board to test, and they do. And they do. So, that could have also been why I was just like, what? But maybe that's what it was. Now that I think it could have been. It could have been. But other than that, in the military, you had to put up with it because it was the military. So that just kind of went without saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 17 to 21. When you're that young, there's a lot you can put up with. Also, we were in the middle of a war. When you're in the middle of a war, people don't have as much time to be racist. I found it's a very interesting time. It was a very interesting time. We were focused. We had a mission. We had things to do. So I had some moments in the military, but then I also had a friend that came through and was like, no, what we ain't gonna have is that bullshit. And that's why I got the hell out. And I was like, no,
Mm.
I'm not doing that. Um, I know how to verbally assassinate, and also I know how to ask probing questions where I'll leave it to the floor. I won't call you anything. I'll just say, "What an odd thought. What made you say that out loud?" I won't even say things like uncomfortable. So I do know how to, like, if you're trying to make me feel uncomfortable, oh, but you want to play that game? We can do this all day, every day. I ain't got nothing but time, and you don't sign my check.
Right. Yeah, I listen. You know what I think? I love that. I love both your responses. I think that listening to you, what I was feeling was, I agree with both of y'all, and I like what y'all said. Just the past couple of years for me, like I said, I have not suffered. Thank you, God, and I mean it with all reverence. I've not suffered any racism that I've known in my life. I'm black, gay. I've not done. That's not been my thing here. I also feel like I'm spoiled because living in New York City, we don't. I don't know. We just don't have the issues that maybe different states have in some ways.
It's not
Um,
in vogue there. Like, you
yeah,
like racists stay away from a place like New York because you are in the minority.
they are
New
the
York,
minority. Yeah,
in New York is also, it's about money.
yeah.
Racism messes with the money.
Yeah, and you know
It's
what I
not
think, and I think Alice, that's probably the thing because if you have not had that experience when you didn't watch television, I think this has been my struggle recently because it's been jarring to watch to be on my social media minding my business, whether it be a TikTok or Instagram or whatever. I'll turn on the news because I'm a news junkie, and I'm into energy and it to be there. All these different messages about people that look like me or people that live a lifestyle like mine or people that live like my cousin or my girlfriend or whoever. I just feel like the people I love or myself is being depicted or talked about, even if they come from different countries, like the way they talk about it, it makes me mad. And I've talked to a lot of people, African American people, people from, I have friends who are immigrants or, just begin angry. And that for me is, I'm trying to process it. I'm trying to like, okay, I want to get it out. I don't want to hold on to it. But I think that just the times we live in, I've been feeling a little more, and I've had these conversations, a lot of people I've talked to feel this way. It's not happening to me, but I'm feeling a raise. Like I think CB was saying, yeah, trust me, through the grace of God, I've not seen somebody be racist or somebody in front of me because I probably would lose my mind because I go insane. I go insane for the people I love. I really do. I think that it's just been the grace of God. I've not had that trigger me, that way in my face because I like you, Alice. I talk first, but I do go insane. I go absolutely insane. So, it's just I'm struggling with myself because I like to have a clean mind. I don't like to see. I try to be curious about things like why do people feel this way, and it's a struggle currently. Times we live in. I'm just struggling to not. Donald. I don't want to say that, but the ex-president. I don't. I can say I hate him. I hate what he represents. I don't like using that word, but I'm trying to get it out. I just want to get it out my spirit, but I'm just finding myself angry
I
with these
feel
things.
pity.
Go ahead.
I feel a deep sense of pity for people like that. I
Okay.
feel more pity than anything for them because you are eaten up by hate all the time. All the time.
Mm,
Now, we're humans. We get angry. It's a part of the human condition. But to be angry all the time at things that you like, at a whole race of people that's been existing and will exist before and long after you're gone, the fact that that matters to you, the fact that right now there are pink toes concerned with the three of us, we are talking about our journeys and our struggles, and there they are, literally writing legislation and corporate policies to try to harm us and those that look like us and those that
right.
are related to us. And that is sad, that that is how you choose to spend this one life as you. I do believe in reincarnation, but you only get to be you once. That's how you spend this go round, instead of looking for love and enjoying all this earth has to offer. Instead of making friends, money, and connections, you sit around and hate. Hate is medically not good for you. You're
Absolutely.
poisoning yourself and you're not enjoying your life. You're not enjoying the richness of the world. The world is a beautiful tapestry. It would be boring if it was all one color.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Excuse
all the food you're missing out on, all
me.
the friends you're missing out on, all the sex you're missing out on, you're missing out on life. And I pity you. I truly
They
pity that.
they don't miss the food. These are the same people that yap about Lowry's seasoning being like so new and such a culinary excitement no, seriously, I work in a kitchen at this college, right? Like my my main job field has been restaurant and food service, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Now, I work in the more casual section of it, and we have fries as one of the sides, and they yap about the Lowry's seasoning salt. Mind you, we are north of this downtown small town, in between a Kroger's and a Walmart supercenter. Well, actually, in between, and the Walmart supercenter that has another Kroger's like 2 blocks away. Basically, they can get Lowry's. It is not that serious. It will never be that serious.
Honey, they can't get Lowry's because they don't know where the spice section is.
And it's
They
just
probably wouldn't know
so
how to spell it. They probably putting an O in it. Although
putting
I
what
have
in it?
next time I go to Vegas, they have a restaurant. They have a Lowry's Kitchen. And I've been to Vegas a bunch. I actually lived there, and I've never been to Lowry's. And I'm like, I have to go.
Yeah.
And mind you, I'm not disrespecting Lowry's. I'm not disrespecting McCormick. I'm just saying, seasoning salt is not that much of an innovation.
Stella Bistro, who does seasoning, said it's serious when they can't afford it.
Some of these people can't afford it, which is even worse.
Mm.
And
Wow.
see, and that goes back to what I was saying. When you're hateful, your network is not your net worth, and your network is your net worth.
That's true. Yeah, I agree with y'all. I do. I think that because I think that for a long time, I think ever since Obama was in office, I mean, I turned outside. I was just so happy he was there that I can't say it on YouTube. I wasn't looking at what they put onto the trees and try to talk about the civil rights movement and how they kind of, there was this, this sort of surge of this kind of, Klan, stuff that was, I just turned the other way. I was like, I'm just so happy he's there, but it's just been going on for the past 12 years. At a certain point, especially this year, I'm like, oh Jesus, oh my,
We are all praying that Kamala can just win this election by a landslide. Georgia's turning out in early voting, and that this can truly go to the grave or to the prison with that whole kit and caboodle can just move along, and we're still going to have burst of ignorance,
mm-hmm,
but as the millennials, when I will say this, the real problem racists will have died out when the millennials are where the silent generation was, because now we really don't even have a silent generation anymore. When we are dying out, it will be alpha, it will be Z, alpha, and whatever's alpha after alpha. They will be the ones where you're really seeing a different America.
mm.
They will be the ones that probably vote for reparations.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like
You know what?
I
if we
hope
get
so.
to our 80s, we might get to see it. We might get our check.
Oh my
And
God.
now with stem cell, we might be looking good, because I've seen what a good under eye stem cell treatment can do. And I'm like, you know what? In 10 years, we'll have that for the whole body. Rejuvenate.
Come
It'll
on.
be just like Death Becomes Her.
I love that movie. But I was going to say, speaking of movies, I agree with you. I was going to not to change the subject but thank y'all for going there with me because I was just that's been on my mind.
Oh,
This
you're
thing.
welcome.
That's what this
Thank
is
you.
for. That's what the open forum, the Auntie Hour is for.
Well,
That's what. That's why
I,
we're here.
I love that you did it for Fridays. It's great. I was going to say, we still in the spooky season. So in my
Yeah.
mind, I remember this guy. Guess we can be a little, friendly. It was just one of my many little, what do you call it? Entanglements? I should say. This guy, he was, cute little guy, and he came to my house. I had it to myself. My family wasn't there, and we he brought me some food over, some lobster, some just stuff, and we had a good time first. We ate and we had a good time. So now he want to put the movie on, and the movie he introduced me to was Terrifier. It was a Terrifier movie, and this was
Out. Get out of my house. Get out of my house.
you know what this. So that was when he because we had now Alice. This is the funny part. We already had fun. I'm saying for YouTube. We had a lot of fun. And so now I'm chilling. Now I'm relaxed. I'm just like, what is it? Just all of the good
Afterglow.
hormones. Yeah, come on, all the good hormones is going. It's go. And like, come on, you know what, Mel? I'm gonna put the movie on right now. Really? Okay, so put the movie on. I'm just nuzzled and cuddled and feeling no pain. And the next thing you know, we got this deranged clown coming out. So I remember I went to the message boards and I said, this should not be Terrified. It should be called the Deformer, because that's all the damn clown does. He go around deforming all the damn white people. He go around deforming these people too much. And I mean, I was shocked out of my mind, but it was an experience I never forgot. Then I was like, I end up, oh, you know what? I end up reaching out to the people who produced or who was a part of the movie and became friends with them for a little bit. Yes, I did.
That is so New York. That is so New
Isn't
York.
Alex? You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised at the people. But yeah, but so before it blew up, because the Terrified 2 kind of blew up. It made millions. This one making a lot. And let me
Yeah, the
so
first one was a cult classic.
and then that was the perfect time because you can connect with them. But it's sort of like the old thing where when people really make it big, then they become hard to reach. But but yeah, I knew the people of that film. But I was going to ask y'all again. I know you said throw people at the house. The third one came out, and I was having a debate with that audience. I was like, oh, Terrifier is reductive. Is basically a knockoff of American Psycho, because American Psycho actually had a scene in it where the killer Patrick Bateman inserted a rat into the person's to one of his victim body, and it was inserted in a place that it should never be inserted into. And so then that movie, they did the same kind of scene. And I was like, okay, this director and writer basically is taking ideas from different literature books that are totally deranged. And I'm joking, said Art the Clown is basically Patrick Bateman in drag, and people start laughing because basically
Oh, wow.
that's what it is. If you read American Psycho, most of the killings in that book is being depicted in Terrifier the film. It's being in all the three movies. It's all the people getting cut up and all that. Patrick Bateman did it in that Ellis book, which I read when I was years ago. I love all those books, whatever. But that's what it's coming from.
Wow.
Hmm.
I can't do gore. I can't at all. So for me, that is like not only the worst movie, but like the worst after sex movie ever imagined.
You know what it was, but you know what, Alice, you should check out this one. It was just I'm gonna give another one. It's this movie called Audition from Japan, and it's a cult classic. And it was in so with the Me Too before Me Too movement is this movie in Japan. It's this beautiful Japanese woman, and she goes to an audition for a made up movie by these two guys. They made up the movie so they can audition beautiful Japanese women. Well, they made a mistake and played with the wrong woman, because that woman, she was deranged. She seduced them, and then she drugged them, and then she systematically just took apart pieces of their body with like wire cords, and she got her revenge. It was something else. It's
What's the
called
name of this movie?
it's called Audition. She flipped the script on the Me Too movement kind of predators in that movie, because she's
Oh,
like She was. You look it up on YouTube. The reviews. She said they thought she was a beautiful lady, and she said, "Come on over. Come on to my house and have me some food." And at one point, she's feeding them their own vomit. Like she really went crazy on them. She went really crazy. So audition is a good one. Inside is a one where if it's a French movie. Oh, okay, this is one I would tell y'all. So my mother loved this movie called Intensity by Dean Koontz. It came out in 1997, and it was a beautiful movie about a woman who was traumatically abused in her childhood, and then she went to a family home, to a friend's home over Thanksgiving, and they ended up getting killed. And she ended up killing her in the movie. But then in a French movie called High Tension, they stole that book idea and they totally bastardized it. They made it like this sort of, it just was a terrible movie, whatever. But Intensity, 1997 on like Daily Motion is a good one. But I don't like to do graphic gore. I can sort of play with it. I like a cat fight. I like a good cat fight. I like a good single white female, the women fight because I love Bridget Fonda. So when she was,
Oh my God.
come on,
I have got to watch that this weekend.
yeah,
I have got to watch that this weekend. Let me see if that is available.
yeah, because when
Oh my God.
what's her
Ooh.
name? Jennifer Jason Leigh. She was everything. She seduced the woman's man. She killed and then at the end, Bridget said, "You know what, girl? You done kill people. You messed up my best gay friend, honey, in New York City. I'm gonna get you in this elevator." They were fussing and fighting and tussling, and I was like, "Go ahead, girl. That was a good one."
Oh, I forgot. That was like one of the first movies that I watched on HBO that I wasn't supposed to. And I
Hmm.
was just like, oh my God, this is wild.
I love a
I've
good
always
cat.
I've always wanted one of those apartments.
Okay, so was that the same building that Rosemary Baby was filmed, or was it a different one? I'm trying to because I love those. I'm trying to remember these movies, these
You know
locations.
what? I will look it up. Single white female apartment building.
I remember it was a movie, a building I wanted to live in. You may not remember this, Alex, but it was this movie because I lived for Sharon Stone. I used to love Sharon Stone, and it was a movie nobody talks about called Sliver, where it was
Sliver! I was about to say Sliver with Alec
yeah,
Baldwin.
where Alec
Oh
Baldwin.
my God.
And you know
Oh
that,
my
yeah,
God.
and Alice, you know that building is real. The one it was futuristic. It's actually on the east side. That building she lived in that movie is a real
Oh,
building.
wait, the one with does it have the round windows?
I think, but the movie when she was in that movie, they had cameras. It's a real building here in New York City on
Sliver
the
was
east side.
let's see. Yeah. 113 East 38th Street.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, it did look futuristic at that time.
At the time.
Now it looks dated.
Yeah.
But the single white female building was the Asonia. And I think that was also Rosemary's Baby. But yeah, the Asonia that's a pretty cool building.
Yeah. But I wouldn't, because the Rosemary Baby, I wouldn't do that. But I love a good cat fight. We love a thriller. We give me a good, Hannah Rock the Cradle, The Fugitive.
Where has Rebecca De Mornay been?
You know
Because
what? Right. Go ahead.
Bridget Fonda, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Rebecca De Mornay,
Gina
Andy
Davis.
McDowell, like all of our 90s
Yeah.
women, like Michelle Pfeiffer's still working. She's
Yeah.
still out here working. But them other girls, I guess they just but then that's when you could like make a good 10 million off of a movie. And that's when 10 million was 10 million.
Right.
Today it's 10 million.
And
But
you
that
and,
was 10 million.
and
That
you
was like you could invest, and they probably have $100 million today.
right. And you know what? So I can do a gore movie every now and then just to get the experience, but my heart will always go for the thriller. And you can't also forget, I love this woman too, Melanie Griffith, and actually Pacific Heights or Pacific. She was a landlord in San Francisco, and then Michael Keaton moved in, ruined the house, and they had to. It was a good movie, Pacific Heights or Pacific something. It's in
Pacific Heights, yeah, that's the name
yeah.
of it here.
And he ended up beating up her husband. He ended up making her lose the baby. It was a fight at the end. Anything to do with a fight where they have to fight for their lives, the gun, the knife, or whatever. I like that kind of movie.
I have loved the
Did
Insidious
you
series.
The who?
Insidious.
Oh, you see, when it comes to possession, that's hard for me because I'm. But go ahead, you know.
It is a wild ride. There. I mean, the blue boy he doesn't get possessed.
Mm.
He just gets displaced because
Okay.
people want to possess him. And
Yeah.
so the longer he's out of the body, the closer the demons are to getting in. And they
Mm.
almost get in, but Lin Shay cast them out. Lin Shay will throw a demon out of body in a minute, like Kenya
No.
will throw you out of a party. She'll
Come
throw a
on
demon out
now.
of the body.
No, that's right.
So, but then we find out that some spirits are more malevolent with a more insidious agenda. And they were after the father the whole time.
Mm. Wow. Yeah, I haven't
And
watched
then
those.
there's a second, a third, and a fourth, and it's it's a really I like how they do it. I like
Okay.
how it's a little bit it's a little bit of a thriller. There's a lot of jump scares, a lot of like, okay, what are we really dealing with here? They do a good job of building suspense and scaring the shit out of you.
Okay. Also, I'm trying to think of other thrillers. Jagged Edge with Glenn Close. Fatal Attraction with Glenn Close.
Did you ever
Uh,
see Sudden Fear? Not Sudden Fear. Although Sudden Fear is a good movie. No, Frantic with Harrison Ford.
no, I haven't seen that one.
Ooh, that is. I remember me and my grandparents watched that on a Saturday afternoon. Oh my God, remember it like it was yesterday. That movie, and I've still like watched it like over the years. That movie is so good. He is looking for his wife, and this is like one of the first looking for your wife movies. And
Mm.
I promise, like I promise everybody, you will love Frantic. It's not scary, it's suspense, it's based in reality, but it's still a good, cool weather movie. Something you can have some soup with.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up. Okay.
Oh,
I was gonna
and
say,
oh God, what was the movie with Kevin Costner and Goldie Hawn?
was that Deceived? No, no, no. That
Yes,
was.
yes, yes. Oh God, Deceived. I gotta write that down. I gotta watch Deceived too. DC. Oh my God.
Yeah, I
I
love.
can't tell you how much
I
Me
love
and
it.
Goldie Hawn, I realized like I've really enjoyed her film choices.
You know, I watched her in was it Death Becomes Her, Deceived. I don't think I'm watching the other ones. Oh, I can remember. I know
First
she had
Wives
other ones.
Club.
Oh, of course. I love Bette Midler, and so I love Bette Midler. Love Miss Bette Midler.
Never Troop Beverly Hills. Wait,
No, I don't think I watched that one. No,
or was that Shelley Long?
I think it was Shelley Long in that one.
Yeah, The Private Benjamin. I'm sorry.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't think I watched that one. I think I love Melanie Griffith, Sigourney Weaver, Angela Bassett, Halle Berry. I'm trying to think of other ones, but another one too that you probably learned about. You probably watched. There's this one called I think To Catch a Killer with Brian Dennehy. It was a TV movie. That was the scariest serial killer movie I've ever seen when I was a kid because it was about the Gacy guy who lived in San Francisco, no, in California, no, in Chicago, Chicago, and he was, he had killed over 34, hustlers or people that
Mhm.
he was a gay killer, and he was killing the people. He buried them in the bottom of his basement. And I remember when I watched it as a kid, I don't think I slept for 2 weeks. I was just like, oh my gosh. Not only was I in the closet at the time, of course, it was like I was, nobody knew what I was. I was like, oh my gosh, if I happen to go out and explore, I'm with an older man, is he going to be like this? I mean, it was such a scary movie, but I guess now it's more soapy and emotional. But when I was younger, it was very frightening. That one.
There was an old black and white movie that scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. And it was about this guy that like killed these kids' mom. And then the kids were running in this field. And like, I remember there was this one scene. I got to ask my mom what movie it was, but there was this one scene where they're in a farmhouse and they see him walking because like you can see like the sun is setting and like he had this song that he would sing and they were scared. And
Is it The Night of the Hunter?
let me see.
I think with Mitch. Oh my gosh, I think at The Night of the Hunter probably. Let me look it up.
It's black and white.
Night
of the Hunter, 1955. Oh, this might be it. This
Yeah,
might be it.
it's on Pluto too with with Robin Mitchum. Yeah, he was the killer,
Yeah, yeah, this is it. This is it.
and
That
yeah, and he
scene.
was yeah he was going after the kids because they had a doll. He had to get to the doll to get something out the doll or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
I
was
can't
after
I
them for.
can't remember all of it, but I remember that movie scared the hell out of me. And I was like,
Mhm.
Mom, somebody's gonna kill you. And she's like, honey, nobody's going to kill me. Nobody.
Mm-mm.
Please. It's like uh, this is Lord, I ain't letting you watch this no more.
Did you ever see Black Christmas, the 1970?
Uh, oh my god, I love that you said that. I have a relationship with that movie. So, I am of the blockbuster generation.
Me too.
So
Hmm.
oh Lord, doesn't that take us back? Doesn't that take us
That
back?
take me back to Warlock when I used to have a crush on Julian Sands. I was like, because he was always naked in his movies. So I was I was and John Claude Van Damme too. I would always get those videotapes
Mm.
again as a young, gay guy, whatever. And my family loved the movie, so they would go nude. And don't even get me started on Will Smith in 6 Degrees of Separation, when he kind of showed a little bit of his cheeks and everything. I mean, there was so many videos, like you said, the blockbuster generation, of where I would rewind. You know, listen, it's a whole thing. Alec Baldwin and
Oh,
Malice, like
kids these days don't understand.
they
You
don't.
had to work for it.
You sure enough did. And Alice in an empty house when everybody was outside.
I
Yeah,
mean, I was an only child, so it was never an issue for me. But
yeah.
oh, I could I had friends, they had siblings and two parents living with. Oh, I couldn't
Mhm.
imagine. I couldn't imagine. But Black Christmas. So I would, we would go to Blockbuster and I would always walk through the horror section. And I always saw the cover for Black Christmas. And I would ask my mom to rent it, and she's like, "That's too scary for you. I'm not renting that." And then I'd go get Ewoks, the Battle for Endor, or some that I like. But I always wanted to see it and never saw it. But when I tell you my childhood, like so many times, I would just always look at the poster or the little thing of that movie. So it is so funny you brought that up, because I'm like, I know it well, and now I'm sure I could watch it, but I'm just like, I actually went to look it up. I was like, I'll review it for Halloween month, and I've just never gotten around to
Yeah, it's a good one. It's actually pretty. It holds up. It's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty
it. It's
good.
pretty
It's a good
good.
one. Yeah, it's good because it's basically you don't see the killer, and they in the sorority house, and it was what did they say? It was the beginning of that kind of teen. Yeah, I guess it was the teen slasher beginning. It was Black Christmas. Then it was one my family loved, When a Stranger Calls. When a Stranger Calls, and the man, the babysitter's in the house and the kids are upstairs, and he keep calling
Oh,
on the phone. So Black Christmas, Stranger Call. Then you had Halloween, and then you had Friday 13th, and then you had Freddy with his fingers. So then this is the beginning of all these different
I
things.
have never seen in its entirety a Jason movie or a Friday the 13th movie unless I have done them for this channel and I've forgotten.
Mm.
And I will check, because I know I did. That I saw the first, what was that? Not Hellscape, Hellraiser. I watched Hellraiser for Halloween one year. And that was cool. That was cool. And then yeah, I've never watched a Jason or a Friday the 13th movie in its entirety. I've seen clips, but I've never like sat down and watched one.
Yeah, no, you know what? I think because my family was Baptist, maybe that's why for me, anything to do with demons or possession those are always a struggle for me. But when it comes to people getting sliced up and cut up or whatever, I'm like, but when it comes
Okay,
to
now
like,
for me,
um,
the slice up and cut up,
yeah,
I'm like, oh, that's a little much. But demons, ghosts, sure, I'm all for it.
yeah, because in the with us it was always like, okay, they're gonna in our house it was like they're gonna get you. You gotta be a good person. So it was always, I think that maybe just psychologically it's just in my brain that it's hard for me to get into those kind of possession movies. But yeah.
Have I thought about doing music reviews? I gave my opinion on a song, and y'all told me to stay in my Sarah Vaughan ass lane, respectfully. So I tried, and y'all told me where to go. So
Mm-mm.
I don't want to piss anybody off. I guess I could. I would say if I do, it will be very auntie. It will not be reviewing anything current unless it's like something big, like a Beyonce. I'll review an album. I think I'll review like a Meg album. I'll review Nicki because I'm not biased. So yeah, I'll do some of the biggies, or I would do like here's a bossa nova playlist for your next party.
Bossa Nova.
Mhm. You've heard my theme song.
I
I'm
did, yeah. That see for me, your theme song, because I didn't grow up with bossa nova. It was more like I don't know, it was just other things. But it was giving me, and I think I said to you in the chat somewhere. I said, "Oh my gosh, it's giving me like the best part of like the Golden Girls." When they said Miami is not, that kind of
well, I'll say it twice.
yeah,
Miami is
Miami
nice.
is nice. That's
Miami
right.
is nice.
Yeah, like
Miami is. Wait a minute, Rose. You put
you
in an
said.
extra Miami is nice.
Mhm.
Well, I have to. It hurts the music if you don't put it in. But Rose, the lyric. Anyway, I could
I
do a
mean,
whole.
come on now. I'm listening to you. Like you said, but Rosa don't make sense. You said, then she said, well, why don't we say Miami is thrice? She said, thrice is not a word, honey. Like,
No, who the hell says thrice? It's
yeah.
a word. So is interuterine. It doesn't belong in a song. Miami, you're
You're
cuter
cuter
than
than, and then the
interuterine. You know what I should do? I should do finishing the Golden Girls songs. Let's flush them out
hmm
and make them whole works.
Wait a minute, isn't it a show? I'm trying to think. Have you ever seen a show? Well, actually, a woman who I love. I love her very much. So I think me, we, I love her very much. So Miss Coco Peru. I think she does a show with some of the other ladies, and I'm not sure if it's San Francisco or in California, where they do like what we just talked. They basically take an episode of the Golden Girls and they reenact it.
Oh yes, yes, I have seen that. I have
Yeah.
seen. What was I going to say? Wait, it was before Golden Girls with music reviews.
Yeah.
Damn, I lost my thought and it was good. Bossa Nova, Bossa Nova, how I got into Bossa Nova. So I grew up Bossa Nova adjacent because I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, and
Mm.
they didn't necessarily listen to bossa nova, but they had a lot of bossa nova in the movies and TV they watched because it was from that era. So I, thought, oh, it's all about when I grow up, I'm going to have an apartment with a conversation pit because that was the TV we were watching. We were watching 60s TV where everything was, bossa nova out and mod and all that. So yeah, that's how I got into it, and that's how I thought, you entertained as an adult. You got yourself a coffee, what do you call it? A conversation pit. And then in the 90s, we had that kind of 70s resurgence.
Mm-hmm.
And Bossa Nova was kind of in that. So I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. This is cute. This is like, and then I just started putting it on at parties. And now I love to put it on at parties because it's music that you can put on that's loud enough to make it feel lively, but people can still talk and hear each other.
Okay. Yeah, because you know what? When you say Bossa Nova, I'm thinking, you ever watch the show called Mad Men?
Yes.
Yeah, because in that show, they definitely, I'm thinking about his second wife, and she did like different songs. And um, I've heard about it, and it's cute. It's very cute. It's very cute. I think it was, Oh my gosh, I love not Lisa Marie. God bless Lisa Marie Presley, but her mother. I forget her mother's name. Her Priscilla
Priscilla?
Presley. And she, the first time I actually heard it, oddly enough, was on Dancing with the Stars, and she did a beautiful dance to one of these songs. And I think she said, "Well, I know a girl who do the bossa nova twirl or something, whatever it was." But it was so cute. I said, "Oh," and she was on point too. So that was when I first heard bossa nova. But it was Priscilla Presley. She was dancing to it. It was very cute.
Well, as we approach the holiday season, if you're throwing a soiree, a little bossa nova in the background, especially if it's like cocktail like early, it sets a delightful mood and it's lively, but because there are no lyrics, you still are like, oh my God, I can have this conversation. This is
Mm,
fabulous. It just makes it feel, it gives it like, I don't know why, but there's just something about, especially in New York, like a good apartment, a good drink, and bossa nova in the background as you hear, chatter of different interesting people. It's very fitting. It's very
okay,
fitting.
it's cute. I love it. Well, you know what, Alex? Thank y'all both for letting me come up. This is great. I had to get ready to drop down, but yeah, sending good vibes. I'll be around hopefully for the next, call-in show that you have sometime this weekend.
All righty. Well, I will see y'all later, and I want to thank you both so much. It is 8:07. I gotta get on myself. So thank you so much, and everybody.